Stop using a small incline angle to train your upper chest like this. This doesn't work the upper chest, it targets the anterior deltoid more. The upper fibers of the pectoralis major attach to the lower 2/3 of the clavicle, while the anterior deltoid attaches to the lower 1/3 of the clavicle. Although both are located under the clavicle and share functions like shoulder flexion, internal rotation, and horizontal adduction, the direction of their muscle fibers is different. The anterior deltoid is positioned more externally compared to the upper fibers of the pectoralis major. The upper fibers of the pectoralis major extend outward and downward. Therefore, when the arm is extended backward at the sides of the body, the anterior deltoid is stretched more. At this point, during shoulder flexion, the anterior deltoid is more involved. When our arms are in an abducted position, especially between 45 to 60 degrees, the upper fibers of the pectoralis major are stretched more during shoulder extension. At this angle, during shoulder flexion, the upper fibers of the pectoralis major are much more involved than the anterior deltoid. This is because the gap between the small angles is relatively narrow, so when performing upper chest exercises with small angles of shoulder flexion, the anterior deltoid bears more load than the upper chest. Therefore, using larger angles is more effective than smaller angles. However, if you place the pulley at the very bottom with a large angle, although the gap is wider than with a small angle, the degree of abduction is still insufficient. Therefore, when using a large angle, it is recommended to adjust the pulley upwards according to your height so that when your shoulder is extended, the angle between your arm and torso is between 45 to 60 degrees. At this point, when you perform shoulder flexion, the upper fibers of the pectoralis major are engaged much more than the anterior deltoid. Did you understand?